Hello and thanks for staying with us. Customs surpasses 2025 budget by over 674 billion naira. Also on customs support, Customs joint Interpol smuggling to fight along the nation's borderline. Plus more reports. I am Igeseme Etie. Stay tuned. The Nigerian Customs Service has surpasses 2025 budget by 600. The service said that the revenue target was as a result of various reforms introduced by the management.
The Nigerian Customs Service has generated 7.277 trillion naira as revenue against the projected 6.584 trillion naira for that year, representing an increase of about 10.24% or 674 billion naira. This is as it has set a revenue target of 11.074 trillion naira for the fiscal year, a figure which is almost double the target of 6.584 trillion naira. The Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, disclosed this on Monday during the Budget Defense session before the Senate and the House of Representatives Committee on Customs. The customs boss noted that the agency could have generated more revenue, but for certain government policies, including tariff concessions on compressed natural gas and electric vehicles. I'll take that again, that paragraph. The customs boss noted that the agency could have generated more revenue, but for certain government policies, including tariff concessions on compressed natural gas and electric vehicles, as well as the delayed implementation of the grain tax. Adeniyi stated that out of the projected 11.074 trillion naira revenue target, the service had already realized 4.43 trillion naira.
The service has also introduced joint Interpol system to fight smuggling along the nation's borderline. According to the management, the system will enable the service to fight cross-border smuggling in the country.
The Nigerian Customs Service has strengthened its border security and intelligence capabilities by deploying an Interpol data center at its headquarters in Abuja, giving officers access to one of the world's largest criminal intelligence networks. The Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, announced the developments during a demonstration of the facility, describing it as a major milestone in the service's technology-driven transformation and intelligence-led enforcement strategy. Adeniyi said customs enforcement has evolved beyond conventional compliance, with technology now playing a central role in combating transnational crime. He added that the planned signing of a memorandum of understanding with Interpol would further deepen cooperation between both organizations. The CGC also highlighted the service's indigenous Be Odogu platform, describing it as an innovative digital solution that can support trade facilitation in Nigeria and across other African customs administrations.
The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service said that APA procedures will continue to help the Nigerian Customs to grow. It will be important to desist from smuggling activities in that route. He says that the Nigerian Customs Service will work against importation of unapproved consignment into the country.
In line with the policy thrust of the CGC, which centers on collaboration, consolidation, and innovation, the Apapa Area Command, following painstaking intelligence gathering, scanning analysis, fiscal examination, and active collaboration with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, has seized various items ranging from a 140-foot container with number CAAU 7569127 found to contain 3,639 parcels of cannabis sativa, Canadian loud, weighing 1,819.5 kilograms, concealed alongside 3 imported vehicles and assorted automobile spare parts.
9 seizures have a duty paid value of 53,391,140,029 naira only. These seizures represent far more than monetary value. They represent lives that are protected, families that are preserved, communities that are secured, and countless young Nigerians that will be shielded from the devastating consequences of drug abuse and unsafe medicines. Ladies and gentlemen, the importation of expired pharmaceuticals and controlled substances poses a direct threat to public health, while the sophisticated concealment methods adopted by these criminal networks demonstrate their determination to exploit legitimate trade channels for illicit purposes. However, these interceptions equally demonstrate that we possess the intelligence capability, technology capacity, and the readiness to detect, to intercept, and dismantle the criminal enterprises. In accordance with the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023, narcotic drugs falling within the jurisdiction of NDLEA will today be formally handed over to the agency for further investigation and prosecution. Similarly, expired pharmaceuticals will be transferred to NAFDAC for regulatory action and safe disposal. It is important to note that where prohibited items were concealed alongside those vehicles, automobile spare parts, or other imported goods, only the narcotic drugs and expired pharmaceuticals will be handed over today. Other goods would be in the custody of the service for further processes as provided by the law. I also want to note that as one of the fallouts that we had at the council meeting at the WCO last week, Nigeria Customs Service will now take additional measure to reinforce our capacity for investigation and prosecution of offenders. One of the decisions we made in Brussels last week was that we are going to be cooperating with the International Narcotic Council and Interpol for investigation and prosecution of offenders. Our seizures henceforth of products like narcotics and drugs and expired products will now be forwarded to those partners and international agencies for further profiling and for assistance in the prosecution, in the investigation and prosecution of those offenders. This morning specifically relates to 9 seizures recently recorded by the Apapa Area Command following painstaking intelligence gathering, scanning analysis, physical examination, and active collaboration with the national drug law enforcement agencies. And let me quickly go through the seizures. The first is a 40-footer container with number CAAU 7569127, which was found on examination to contain 3,639 parcels of cannabis sativa, Canadian loud, weighing 1,819.5 kilograms, which were concealed alongside 3 imported vehicles and assorted automobile spare parts. We are going to see them later in the course of this briefing. There was another 40-footer container with number HAMU 3246311, which had in it 9,918 sachets of cannabis sativa, weighing approximately 4.95 metric tons, concealed alongside 2 imported vehicles and household items. Other seized items include 1 by 40-footer container, MRKU 3816476, which had in it 1,700 cartons, 170,000 bottles of codeine syrup, concealed with 38 cartons of insulated casserole dishes. There was indeed another container of codeine, number TGBU 5399178, which had 1,698 cartons, and that's about 170,000 bottles of codeine syrup, concealed with 36 cartons of casserole products. You will have noticed that the trend in the smuggling of the codeine syrup and the cannabis it's about concealment. In terms of expired pharmaceutical products, we also have a 40-footer container with number HASU 4519480, which had 1,300 cartons of products, including tramadol, specifically Timacadol. We had another 140-footer container with registration number MRKU 4961275, which had 1,269 cartons of expired products, including oxytocin injection, Mexclor eye drops, and carbamazepine tablets. We have another consignment of 140-footer container PCIU 8771576, which had expired pharmaceutical products, including assorted chemicals like assorted tablets like cloxylene capsules, cyanamine, vitamins injection, becoline complex B injections, and all of these were intercepted for violation of NAFDAC regulatory requirements.
The breakdown of the seizures include one 40-foot container with number HAMU 3246311 conveying 9,918 sacks of cannabis sativa weighing approximately 4.95 metric tons, concealed alongside two imported vehicles and household items. One 40-foot container with number MRKU 3816476 conveying 170,000 bottles of codeine syrup, concealed with 38 cartons insulated casserole dishes, and one 40-foot container with TGBU 5399178 conveying 1,698 cartons, that's 169,800 bottles of codeine syrup, concealed inside 36 cartons of casserole products. Further breakdown of the seized items include one 40-foot container with number HASU 4519480 conveying 1,300 cartons of expired pharmaceutical products, including tramadol, Timacadol, one 40-foot container with MRKU 4961275 conveying 1,269 cartons of expired pharmaceutical products, including oxytocin injections, Mexclor eye drops, and carbamazepine tablets, that's Temigro brand. Another consignment in a 140-foot container with number PCRU 8771576 comprising expired pharmaceutical products, including cloxylene capsules 100 milligram, Thiamine 12 vitamin B12 injections, and B-choline B-complex injections, and one 20-foot container with number MRKU 6964435 conveying pecan titin powder were all intercepted for regulatory action.
Is the strength of synergy between us and other agencies of government. You heard from the representative of the chairman, NDLEA, how these consignments, particularly the Canadian Loud, has been tracked, working very closely with international partners, how it has been tracked all the way from where it was loaded onto Nigerian ports. This demonstrates that when we work together in environments like this, not just in the ports, in airports, at border stations, there is a lot of strength that lies in this synergy. I want to use this medium to really appreciate the opportunity and the readiness, the willingness of Brigadier General Buba Mawa, retired, and Professor Adeye of NAFDAC, with whom I've found it very easy to collaborate, exchange views, intelligence on how we intercept this. What we are going to do now, the next level, is for us to also collaborate further in seeing how we can successfully prosecute those who are bringing this merchandise of evil into Nigeria. We have started, we are on the right track. We have an MOU with each of the agencies. We will activate the relative clauses to ensure in the MOU to ensure that we get this done. And like I said in my briefing, one of the things that we also came up with at our meeting in Brussels, the WCO meeting, is that the international partners, Interpol, INCB, they are also ready to collaborate with us to ensure that we fight decisively the scourge of smuggling of controlled substances, bad products and drugs into our country.
You are watching the program Customs Report.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service disclosed that the federal government has slashed import tariffs on vehicles as part of the fiscal policy measures, reducing duties on used vehicles from 15% to 5% and on brand new vehicles from 20% to 10%. The current tariff adjustment, he noted, is designed to stimulate legitimate trade, lower the cost of vehicle imports, and improve compliance within the nation's import regime. Appearing before the House of Representatives Committee on Customs and Excise to defend the service's budget proposal, the Customs Boss explained that the revised vehicle import tariff forms a critical component of the federal government's fiscal policy framework. He maintained that while the broader fiscal measures are expected to bolster customs revenue through enhanced trade facilitation and improved compliance, the substantial reduction in vehicle duties may temporarily diminish revenue generated from automobile imports. The Senate approved the budget proposal of the Nigerian Customs Service, endorsing a revenue target of 11.074 trillion naira and a total expenditure of 1.295 trillion naira for the fiscal year. The approval followed the consideration of the reports of the Senate Committee on Customs, Excise and Tariffs, chaired by Senator Issa Jibrin, APC Kogi, during plenary. Presenting the report, Jibrin said the committee assessed the agency's budget implementation before examining the estimates. He disclosed that the Customs Service exceeded its revenue target of 6.5 trillion naira, generating about 7.2 trillion naira, representing a performance of 110.53%. According to him, the agency's performance would have been stronger but for the suspension of telecoms excise duty, healthcare production incentives, and global trade disruptions from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which reduced imports, especially wheat. On expenditure, Jibrin said although the Customs Service had an approved budget of about 1.132 trillion naira, actual spending stood at 591 billion naira. The Nigerian Customs Service has strengthened its drive to build a future-ready workforce with the graduation of senior officers from the Advanced Senior Executive Course on Strategic and Trade Foresight, organized in partnership with the Nigeria Institute of International Affairs, NIIA. The graduation ceremony held on Saturday, July 4, 2026, at the NIIA in Lagos underscored the service's commitment to equipping its senior officers with the strategic skills needed to navigate the rapidly evolving global trade and customs landscape. Representing the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, the Comptroller of the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, Comptroller Gambo Aliyu, described the program as a deliberate investment in developing the next generation of customs leaders capable of driving institutional transformation.
Custom operation globally is dynamic, it's evolving, we need to be futuristic, we need to be able to look ahead of what it is now, and the service in its wisdom is preparing future generation of custom officers that would respond to the dictates of the time going forward. The course outline in the group discussion was on strategic position of the customs from 2026 to 2035. So you can see a forward-thinking administration, an administration that is looking into the future, an administration that wants to bequeath a legacy, an administration that is responsive, an administration that is resilient, an administration that wants to be in the front vanguard of trade formulation policies and integration going forward.
Aliyu explained that the course was designed to shape the strategic direction of the Nigerian Customs Service between 2026 and 2035, in line with its vision of building a resilient, innovative, and globally competitive institution that will continue to lead in trade facilitation, customs modernization, and regional integration. Aliyu noted that the initiative complements the Comptroller General's Mentor-Mentee program, stressing that the graduating officers are expected to transfer the knowledge acquired to other personnel across the service. The Nigerian Customs Service has graduated 50 officers from the Nigeria Customs Command and Staff College, NCCSC, Gwagalada, with 2 officers from the service's National Public Relations Unit emerging as the overall best and second best graduating students in senior course. A major highlight of the graduation ceremony held at the Ahmed Monkafi Hall of the college was the emergence of Chief Superintendent of Customs Ridwan Yusuf as the overall best graduating students and Chief Superintendent of Customs Nuruddin Zaidu as the second best graduating students. Both officers serve in the service's Public Relations Unit. In his message to the graduating officers, the Comptroller General of Customs Adewale Adeniyi, represented by the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command, Deputy Comptroller General of Customs Suleiman Chiroma, congratulated them on completing one of the service's most demanding professional training programs.
The Lagos Free Trade Zone of the Nigerian Customs Service has generated revenue for the nation. The command controller said that its revenue increased by 28%.
The Nigerian Customs Service Lagos Free Trade Zone Command said it generated 408.8 billion naira in revenue, representing a 28.85% increase over the 317.3 billion naira collected during the corresponding period. Speaking during the command's half-year media briefing, the Customs Area Comptroller CAC Hawa Abubakar said the revenue grew by 91.54 billion naira, attributing the performance to deliberate efforts to strengthen compliance, improve operational efficiency, and deepen stakeholder engagement.
Since its establishment 4 years ago, the Lagos Free Zone Command has become a model of trade facilitation within the service. It is committed to efficient trade processes and operational excellence, has enhanced the ease of doing business while positioning the command as one of the country's major revenue-generating command. This remarkable transformation is a reflection of the visionary leadership of the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, MFR, PhD, DSM, FNRIP, FNIIA, PSC, DAGAP. The strategic direction of the management team and the dedication of our officers and the unwavering cooperation of our stakeholders. I am pleased to announce that the command recorded the highest monthly revenue collection since inception in the month of June. The command generates a total of 87 billion 102 million 845,714 naira and 51 kobo.
She described the achievements as a result of strategic initiatives rather than chance, noting that sustained engagement with stakeholders has helped build trust and encourage voluntary compliance with extant customs laws and regulations.
This historic achievement demonstrates the command's growing capacity and its increasing confidence of investors and stakeholders operating within the free zones under our jurisdiction and Lekki Deep Sea Port. Furthermore, between January and June 2026, the command generated a total revenue of 408,869,138,497.75 kobo. This unprecedented growth is not accidental. It is a product of deliberate strategy aimed at strengthening compliance, improving operational efficiency, and fostering constructive engagement with all stakeholders operating within the free zone and Lekki ports. Our sustained stakeholder engagement program have continued to build mutual trust and encourage voluntary compliance and extant custom law and regulation. Though continuous dialogue, education and collaboration, we have created an environment where legitimate trade can flourish while ensuring that government revenue is adequately protected.
According to Abubakar, continuous dialogue, education, and collaboration have created an enabling environment for legitimate trade to thrive while ensuring adequate protection of government revenue. She also credited the officers and men of the command for their professionalism, integrity, and dedication, saying their commitment had strengthened the confidence of the trading community in the operations of the Nigerian Customs Service.
Just before we round up this week's edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where the Nigerian Customs Service has continued to surpass the revenue target as approved by government. For me, Igeseme Itinye, thanks for watching.